Hello and welcome to Transfermarkt TV. I'm Manu Feth. He's Stefan Bienkowski. Today's topic is Harry Kane and what will happen to him next summer. Stefan, this is such an interesting topic because for the longest time we've reported on Transfermarkt that Bayern Munich are the number one candidate to land him, right? Written numerous articles on this, followed the story this entire season pretty much. Bayern Munich, sometimes hot, sometimes cold on him. But there is now another candidate, Manchester United. And of course, everyone will have seen the game between Man United and Tottenham, where Man United fans chanted Harry Kane's name, trying to entice him to the club. This is going to be a really interesting transfer saga this summer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right now it definitely seems like Man United are making all the right calls. Not only are the
Mm,
fans singing his name after games, but also Eric Ten Hag actually recently more or less admitted that the club needed another
mm.
striker. He basically said, we've got X, Y, and Z, referring to the players he has. He was very diplomatic and didn't say they aren't good enough, but he said we need more bodies in that position, which is how managers obviously kind of tiptoe around these kind of questions these days. And there are some reasons why Harry Kane might want to stay in the Premier League if he was to leave Tottenham. We talk about his
Mm,
goal scoring record at Tottenham. He's now the club's all time goal scorer, obviously.
yeah.
If you actually look at his goal scoring record in the Premier League since he kind of came through at Tottenham's first team, his record's really tremendous, actually. I think, from the 2013-14 season, he scored
Mm,
207 league goals, which is over 50 more than second placed player on that list, which was Sergio Aguero at Manchester City. But crucially, he's still about 52 goals, if I'm not mistaken, off Alan Shearer's all time Premier League goal scoring record. And,
mm.
it seems as though, I mean, whether that's something that Kane feels strongly about himself, or
Yeah.
whether these kind of goal scoring records are just kind of things that have been thrust upon his career because obviously at Tottenham he hasn't been able to win major silverware. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see this summer to see whether he wants to stay in the Premier League, claim that title over Alan Shearer, or if he's got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, I think the big question here really is what is Tottenham going to do, right? I mean, they have essentially, if it's an ideal scenario if you're Chairman Levy, because you can now, play two clubs off one another. If Bayern Munich are indeed still interested in Harry Kane, of course, they also have other candidates. But I mean, he can now essentially say, okay, well, Harry Kane's current market value, according to Transfermarkt, is 90 million euros. I mean, on the one hand, that's probably going to go down now because he is reaching a certain age. But the other thing is, of course, Man United might say, well, we are willing to pay you above market value. But we've seen this in the past with Tottenham. They rather sell abroad than keeping a player in the Premier League where the player can hurt them. There's numerous times where that has happened before. So he might very well say, okay, well, Bayern Munich are offering 90 million euros. We're going to take the 20 million euros less just so that Harry Kane is not in the Premier League hurting us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you were to look at Harry Kane's market value over the last 3 or 4 seasons, you will see that it
Mm,
has dropped from about 150 million euros when like he was kind of at the peak of his powers at Tottenham. When the
yeah.
club were kind of being coached by Pochettino, they were pushing for Champions League titles. He really looked like he and Tottenham were going somewhere, and it has dripped down ever since then to where it is now at 90 million euros, which by no means is a bad figure by any means, of
Yeah.
course. But I think that really does a good way of kind of denoting how his career at Tottenham has kind of maybe not for him personally, because he's obviously still scoring goals with fun, but perhaps the club's prospects, shall we say, have kind of dimmed recently. And
Mm,
considering he is in the final year of his contract, or he will be in the final year of his contract by the end of the summer,
yeah.
you would think this summer is probably the best time for Tottenham to sell him. And as you said, if it is Man United and Bayern Munich who are kind of putting together bids and offering up to Daniel Levy, then you would think he'd probably be more inclined to accept Bayern Munich's offer. And we have to remember that while Man United fans might be singing his name every week, and while Ten Hag might be complaining about lack of strikers, Bayern Munich also desperately need a number nine this summer, and they won't shy away from offering him top wages, making sure he's the main man. And of course, they can offer the kind of promise of challenging for the Champions League next
Yeah.
season, which perhaps something that Man United can't offer. So, there are plenty of eggs in Bayern Munich's basket here, if you allow the expression, to suggest that they might be able to kind of pit Man United to a sign in the summer.
Yeah, I think that is maybe the one thing that Bayern Munich have over Man United is a general title guarantee that Manchester United is, although the project under Eric Ten Hag is going quite well, I think they're still quite a far way away from winning a major title, whether that is the Premier League or the Champions League. Bayern Munich are a lot closer to that. And as Harry Kane is getting older, he might want to opt for an option that gives him a title right away. But this is very interesting. I think this is a rumor that's going to follow us for most of this transfer season that is now slowly but surely approaching to us, Stefan. So if you want to keep tabs on all the transfer rumors, head to Transfermarkt right now. We have the rumor mill on there. We have the latest transfer news for you as well. Check that out, and we'll be back soon with some more content for you. Until then, cheers and bye bye.